Hey y'all, it's Diana again in broad daylight. I'm back over here in West Point, Mississippi. Miss Jane had to come back to another doctor's appointment. And we brought Pebbly Pooh today with us. It's a girl's day out. Yes, she got her hair all fixed and got her little dress on. So today what I wanted to talk about is gastric bypass, bariatric surgery. I have several friends who are getting ready to have a gastric bypass. One of those is Ryan. And one of those girls, Jasmine, she just hit me up just the other day wanting to know some details because she's planning to have the surgery too. And I had the surgery back in December of 2007. And those of you who have followed me, you will know that my top weight had gotten up to 550 pounds. And they required that I go on a diet and lose some weight. And I lost down to 515 before I had surgery. I was actually I like that word, I was the heaviest patient they had ever operated on. And I know I'm not wasn't the heaviest person living, but the heaviest that particular clinic had ever operated on. And I had my surgery done by Dr. Virginia Weaver in Memphis, Tennessee, and she done that at the St. Francis Hospital there. The St. Francis has a really good bariatric program. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to just go with Dr. Weaver, even though her office is in the hospital. But the clinic itself, they work with several other doctors. And they have a good program because you have to take classes so that you are aware of what you're getting into. And so you know exactly, and you test it and everything so that they know that you know what you're supposed to do. Whether you do it or not, that's up to you, but at least they know you know. And of course, they take a lot of before and after pictures kind of thing. And I had surgery, and they told me beforehand that if I smoked, I needed to stop smoking, because nicotine thins your blood, and you could have a chance of, bleeding real heavy, which I did. But I didn't smoke, but my husband did. And the day I was having surgery, they did a last-minute kind of blood test to see what was going on, and they said, you have nicotine in your blood, and we told you that you should stop smoking. I said, well, I don't smoke. But of course, I lived in a house with a smoker. So I had nicotine in my blood. And after I had surgery, I had trouble even waking up and be coherent because I had lost so much blood during surgery that for the next day or so, they had to hook me up to IVs with blood, giving me blood because I had lost so much during the surgery. So anybody who wants this surgery, you not only have to stop smoking, you have to stop being around smoking, because you will inhale that secondhand smoke and you're getting the nicotine from it, and then you're going to suffer. I was supposed to have been up at least by that next day walking. I was there 3 days in intensive care. I never got up and walked. They finally put me in a wheelchair and sent me to out the door. And I had never actually walked. I was in bad shape. But I needed to have something to get myself kick-started. And I initially lost 200 pounds. Which helped me with my blood pressure. I didn't develop high blood pressure until I exceeded 400 pounds. So as soon as I lost under 400 pounds, my blood pressure dropped back down to normal, so I got to get off my blood pressure medicine and all that. And I eventually got down to around 300, and then I started going back and forth, eating things that I shouldn't have eaten. Even though you have a pouch about this big around, you can't eat very much at a time, but I learned that I could graze like a cow all day long and just eat a bite here and there all day long. So you can gain weight if you do that. And I learned that eventually I could start eating cookies and cakes and pies and ice cream and all that stuff that puts weight on you. And the first things that I had to eat when I had surgery was mashed potatoes, because, you know, you go on the liquid diet and then a very soft diet. And the only thing I could eat that didn't make me nauseous was mashed potatoes. Well, that's full of carbs, full of sugars. And it got where I just craved potatoes. So all these years after my gastric bypass, I never did like to eat meat again after surgery, but I loved my potatoes and my rice and my gravies and stuff like that that soothed my stomach. And, you know, I learned real quick after I got to where I could eat something that this was the worst mistake I had ever made. When they cut on you and it takes away that joy of a person who has an eating disorder, which I do have an eating disorder. It took away that joy of a nice meal. You could only eat a little bit at a time, so you're not able to enjoy a full meal. So I kept thinking, I just wish I'd never done this. Like I said, it initially saved my life because it brought me down by 200 pounds, but it put me where I couldn't get the rest of it off. And that didn't come until I started with keto, because with keto it's been so easy for me because I can eat anytime I want to eat. I just have to make sure that what I'm eating is keto friendly, is low carb, high fat, you know, that kind of stuff. And I continually lose weight for the last over a year and a half now. And I'm going pretty quickly close to my 200 mark of losing weight on keto. So I push keto because I know it's a safe way to eat. It's an easy way to eat. You always feel full. You never feel deprived. And I'm able to stick with it. And it's something I'm going to have to do the rest of my life. So for those of you who are contemplating bariatric surgery, either the lap band or the full gastric bypass, you know, they said that I needed the full gastric bypass because the weight that I was, that I needed something that was going to be permanent. And the sleeve is made to where it can be taken out later on and adjusted. I have a cousin who had the lap band, and she lost lots of weight. It was looking so good, but she's gained most of it back now. So even though you will initially lose a lot of weight, you're going to have to change your eating habits, you know. Whether you want to or not, you're going to have to change them. And the keto is just my idea of the easiest way to do it. So if you're thinking about bariatric surgery, study up on the keto too, because that's something that you can fall back on whenever this starts to wear off. I tell you, it's miserable after you have the surgery. Miserable. Many a day I thought, oh God, I would rather be dead than to lose what I had left that I really enjoyed doing, which was eating. So I hope this has helped some people out there, especially you, Jasmine and Ryan. So I wish you luck. Bye-bye now.